Hello and welcome back to Mo's Adventures. Today we're going to be installing the Amazon liftgate lights that go in place of these little plastic tabs here. Um, from what I understand, there are videos on YouTube already of this particular installation, but a lot of people are struggling with getting their wiring harness through this grommet that goes from the car side to the hatchback side. So I'm going to try using some dielectric grease in that area and lubing up the wires, make it a bit easier. And I'm going to tape the wires with electrical tape and this mechanics wire to the end of this wire and pull on it with a pair of pliers, and hopefully we won't struggle too much. Quick unboxing. This is pretty much exactly how it came. You got one light, two lights that are curved to match the radius of the door panel. Quick instruction disclaimer. Instruction notice, match the red with the red. Most important step is to disconnect the battery first before connection. Make sure to remove the fuse from the fuse box. Now I don't really want to locate the fuse on here or whatever, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to disconnect the battery. This will prevent from blowing when you connect it to the rear interior trunk light, which is going to be the one over on the right hand side, which is located here, obviously. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the battery. You're going to need a 10mm wrench if you can find one. Now with the battery disconnected, I'm going to go ahead and open up these wiring harnesses and get an idea on which way they run. I'm wearing the rubber gloves to protect the headliner. It stains very easily, so I don't want to get any marks on there or anything. So if the gloves happen to get dirty with something, then I can just change them out. Okay, so that is the unboxing. Just take these twist ties off of here. This looks like the harness that has two ends on it are going to be for in the door. And from what I've heard, this wiring harness is way too long for the application. So I guess if you really wanted to cut some slack out of there, you could take the wires out of this harness and shorten them up a bit. I guess you wouldn't be able to unless you had the those specific ends, which I do not. So we're not going to go ahead and do that. We'll probably just zip tie it like everybody else does and get rid of the excess. This is the pigtail that piggybacks this cabin light and then runs up your C-pillar through the headliner, through the door jamb, and then the end of this harness that has the two wires are going to probably, in my case, kind of get bent around like that and try to travel up through there, or I might just tape them straight ahead because it's pretty much a pain in the ass to get them through there from what I understand. I do want to kind of investigate this situation first, and might as well scratch the paint. That'll make sure that it rusts a lot quicker. Oh yeah. Also, since this is all going to be weather tight essentially, I could take this sheathing off of here, and that'll probably make it easier. There's 3 trim clips in here. Hopefully that's not dirty. Just push up, use your trim tab remover, and gently pull them out. Set them aside for reinstallation. And then by the time you get to the third one, you can forget all about being gentle. So you can kind of bend this down a bit without breaking it. Get your eyes on what the situation at hand is. Oops. So to try to prevent this thing from stabbing the heck out of that rubber grommet in there, I'm going to bend the end of this over. Hopefully just like that. I can always cut that end off afterwards. There is another I don't know if you can see in there or not. So up here there is another tab that I think I can remove to try to free up some slack. I just checked my phone and realized that the video stopped playing. So where I believe it left off was I was trying to get this tab out of here to free up the wiring harness a bit. That way I could get this out a bit more, so I could get some just a little bit more room to work with this. Made a little loop on the end of this wire and placed the two wires inside there and taped it up with electrical tape. I filled this cavity inside of the grommet with dielectric grease, and unfortunately, because the camera was not recording, I did not get it on tape, which sucks. But let me tell you, by doing it this way, it pulled right through there like nothing. Worked really well. That sucks, but that's the way she goes when you're filming. That's how I did it there. I just pretty much wrapped the mechanics wire around these wires, taped it all so that it would easily slide through, and it worked well. Doing it that way, there's no damage done to these connections or anything. I didn't pull on the wires with pliers or anything, damaging the protective sheathing, and it seemed to have worked well. Now I gotta try to pull, because I didn't come up through here with the wires like I should have. I've got to try to put this down through the hole, which shouldn't be an issue. And I say that now. Well, see, when it gets cold out, this sheathing just cracked. And that's about how good that crap is. All this is just going to simply run along the headliner and down to the light over there. Looks like it'll be enough. That's funny, I swear this is a quiet neighborhood, but as soon as I come outside and start doing something, filming, someone always starts making noise. Or trains by. I think the previous owners, for some reason, tried to glue this down, this weather stripping, so it always leaves this black tar anytime I take it off, and that crap gets everywhere. So, yeah, there's the trim tab in here I gotta try to get out. I do have a little flathead here to pry that out. Just a little trim clip. This should pull straight up ahead. Here we go. I can get behind it. That was violent, but didn't break anything. Just snake this wire down there. Make sure it's not gonna be rubbing on anything. Push that back up. Pull this forward. My wiring harness is right there. Snap those two back in. Put that weather stripping back on. Now try to get that little light out of there. So you pull from the side towards the front of the cabin. Pull some slack out. Get my wire harness going. Anyways, that's enough slack for me to do what we need to do here. So this is going to go into this pigtail like that. And then this just goes back into this light, so that light still works. And then that all just disappears back into the abyss. Trim clip, don't forget to put that back in, because that holds the whole thing together. Okay, so there's the bottom end of everything. Doesn't look like this wire's rubbing on anything anywhere, so it'll be fine there. So we can go ahead and put our other trim clips back in. There's no grease or nothing on my hands. Screw up the headliner. Oops. Just push this grommet back in here. Just use the needle nose to. I want to put the back in first. That way it's easier to get that like that. Now comes the fun part of yarding more plastics off. How did I get this off in the summertime? Just like that. 4 taps. The side ones, I don't think I've had the side ones off. Just pull and twist and pry. Looks like there's 2 more trim tabs there, and then some other over there. Whatever. This whole panel's loose. That's fine. So those must not have been pushed in there properly, because they just came right off. So now we can yard this out. Flying projectiles. I'll use the end of this, might be better. That works. Okay, now they said in the instructions to match red to red as far as putting these clips into this colunga. So we'll just orientate that. And then if you look in the back of this, look at which way the hoops are. You go towards the top of that retainer. So the white one is on this side. Put it there. Take it out. Should go in, and you'll hear a little click, and then the wire's in there snug and secure. Just fold this little tab down and connectilate them. Double making sure that you've got the polarity correct. I'm actually going to take that back out of there because I didn't run it through the proper esophagus. Beyond here. So I guess now we just put this behind the plastic trim on both sides, like so. So again, white's going to go to white with these little tabs. And just pop in. I'd say this is probably a half an hour to 40-minute job from open door to closed door. Alright, there's another train. That's anytime is train time. That's fine. I'm gonna put a little extra little wire back there. And I'm gonna start with one side and put that back on. Pay attention now to how this goes back in. I don't know why that's not popping in all the way. I don't want to push on it real hard with it being kind of cold out. Might be because of my my dollar store foam stuff that I've got blocking the window. Orientate that up. That one didn't click, so now it clicked. Okay, so it looks like this hole, that hole, and that hole are where the tabs go. Done. Set. We obviously had the lights that were in the box, trim tab remover, 10mm wrench to disconnect the battery, pair of pliers, flat blade screwdriver, couple zip ties, roll of tape, also a mechanics wire, which I already threw in the garbage, some extended needle nose pliers. It comes with 2 spare fuses and a can of aerosol dielectric grease to inject into the boot. All in all, like I said, I think this would be a 40-minute job. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and reconnect the battery and see if they work. And these 2 lights came on. You can touch them to shut them off. Same on the other side, obviously. You open it up and they come on. So we'll jump to a quick night view of this, although it's already been done on YouTube many times. I'm curious to see for myself once it's dark out. Well, this is pretty piss poor. All right, let's try that again. As I'm sure you've seen, the first time I manually turn them off and then close the door, they come on every single time you open the door. I'm quite pleased with these lights. They're very bright, and they will, I mean, they're a little bit less bright than what some people make it out to be, but it's definitely a lot better. It allows you to see your surroundings outside, and you can at least see what you're trying to grab out of the back of this car. You know, paired with the interior lights, there's no reason why you can't see anything back here. So yeah, it gets a big thumbs up from me, and it's a recommended install. But the long-term test is going to be how long do they last. As for right now, I approve. Anyways, guys, on the next video, stay tuned for some turn signal light installation on the mirrors. I'm going to be doing a sequential turn signal light swap. If you like this video on replacing the hatch lights, hit the thumbs up button. And if you want to stick around for some more interesting content and some stuff on, I've got a bus build going on and everything like that, or any adventure I may come across, hit the subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. And thanks again for watching. So we'll talk to you later.